Well, this is the Mama Tried Flat Out Friday podcast. You can watch this on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. Please get involved. Please comment, hit the bell, share. Most importantly, we want a little feedback. We want a little dialogue.
Yeah, the more shit talking, the better.
We have two guests today on podcast number 53, Beer City Cycles, right?
Yeah.
What's up, boys?
I think
Hello?
53 is a prime number.
I don't know what that means.
I forgot all of that
You're the
stuff.
teacher.
Prime number means it's the lowest common denominator.
It's not divisible by itself.
Not divisible by anything, right? Is it common?
Isn't anything divisible by itself?
Yeah, isn't 5 divided by 5 is 1?
Yeah.
53 divided by 53 is 1.
Oh, wait.
It means it can't be broken down. You cannot break down 53.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we got that. Thanks.
I got
Thanks.
part of it.
I appreciate
Somebody
it.
needs to fact check that shit.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll start the comments rolling right there. Hey, Warren, we start this podcast every time with "Where's your head at?" I haven't seen you in a while, by the way. We took the Labor Day holiday off.
Yeah, that was weeks ago, though, wasn't it?
I appreciate that, Brian. Thanks for giving us a little time off. You're a real ball buster, and I appreciate that about you, but thanks for giving us a time off. All right, Warren, where's your head at?
Oh man, I'm all right. We just got back from vacation with the old lady. I mean, the wife.
Where did you go?
South Carolina. We took a trip with the daycare parents, which I like to refer to them as. It's folks that we met through daycare.
Okay,
So
so it's
it's
an
like
adult vacation?
Adult vacation, only adults, no children. Went to South Carolina.
Why did you pick South Carolina?
I didn't. We went wherever they wanted to go. Shane is 40. He's a big golfer. I don't give a shit where we go as long as it's somewhere. So we went and I spent $300 on 18 holes. Golf with the boys.
So
that
you
was
golfed?
fun. Yeah.
You guys golf?
If you want to call it that.
We do golf.
I
Really?
do, actually.
Really?
Very badly, but
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
I'm like, I can embarrass myself properly, and I can also impress people.
so I do it where at the end of it, the number of beers I've drank during the 18 holes is how many points I get to take off.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, that's a good bit.
Yeah.
What do you do in 18 holes? Like what is it? What do
Like 26 beers usually.
So
So that's what, 4 under par.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really am bad. I'm a long game, horrible. I like to play cart game or cart golf or like scramble until I get close. Then I'm on my own. I can come off the leash. So
There you
I don't
go.
take it too serious. All those dudes are pretty serious. I'm the goof. So I just lose a bunch of balls, and whoever I'm riding the cart with, that's where I'm gonna hit from in the on stroke 2. That's nice. We had stayed in a big ass house on some resort on the ocean. It's really bitching. Had a
Sounds
pool.
great.
Yeah,
That sounds
it's super
great.
Cool.
I went golfing once. There's a true story, and maybe after the third hole, my language is not right on this.
Yeah, that's right.
I went into the bathroom and I noticed I had those burrs all over my body, and I was like, "How long is this game?" It was the third hole.
Yeah.
I know it was 18 holes.
Yeah, 4.5 hours. 4 hours,
Jesus
20
Christ.
minutes. Ish.
All right. Well, I want to say that I'm using this time, Warren, to kind of take a little break from our constant hectic schedule. We're getting ready because we have a big spring coming up.
Yeah, it's already started for me. I'm like knee deep in the trenches of trying to talk people into giving us money so that we can have a show. So sponsors and supporters, and we have the raffle bike or the giveaway bike that we're trying to doctor up, which is gonna shape up pretty cool. Getting ready to actually start working on that thing. Got a bunch of parts from everyone.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, you can help us out by buying a ticket to win Scott's bike. Oh, buy stickers. Sorry,
Buy a
you buy
sticker.
stickers. You don't buy a ticket to anything. You buy some stickers.
Is it a sticker of a ticket?
It's a sticker of a ticket.
No, it's a really nice sticker sheet. Yeah, look great on your refrigerator.
So you
That's
buy a
actually-
sticker sheet,
Yeah.
and then your name gets entered into a chance to additionally, happenstancely, win a motorcycle.
Yes, this is true.
So we're selling stickers packets.
Yeah.
They're great.
If we say tickets,
Yes. And we can't say the word raffle.
And then they give you a ticket.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Well, thanks for letting us clear our heads here, guys. I don't see Warren much. We use this time for a meeting, and I wanted everyone to know that I've been laying low lately, just trying to get my head prepared for the impending doom that starts generally around October as we prepare for our spring events or our winter spring events.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beer City Cycles. Yes.
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 Guns. Your name is Guns. Is that right?
Yeah. People call it that or Chris Guns.
Oh, all right. All right. And Jesse. Yeah.
Yes.
So can we start with the basics? It isn't a matter of what I want to know. It's a matter of what I think everybody wants to know. Or I'm speaking. I'm the mouthpiece for everybody listening. What is Beer City Cycles?
It's something and nothing all at once, I guess.
Okay.
Is it in Milwaukee?
It is in Milwaukee.
That's weird.
So we're located kind of in Bayview/St. Francis, and we're just a group of dudes that like to work on motorcycles, do dumb stuff, drink lots of beer, and ride and put on miles.
It's like what is it? Where everybody groups together, like a
social setting.
social club.
Yeah, not a club, not an organization, a crew, nothing like that. Just a group of dudes that like riding motorcycles and drinking beer.
Mm-hmm. I got to live in Bayview or St. Francis to be part of the crew.
No. Anybody's welcome to come ride with us. Any kind of bike you want to do. We do lots of different things. So more people that want to come out and hang out and wrench and drink beer and ride.
What
we're
kinds
happy.
what kinds of things do you do?
So this year we did our first bike show down at Puddlers Hall in Bayview. It was kind of just like a little bit of a spur of the moment thing. Within like 3 months, I decided to do something and made it a barbecue. And I like doing things on Sundays because no one likes doing things on Sundays. And it kind of gives everybody an excuse to come out and just hang out and see everybody. And a lot of other people don't do stuff on Sundays, so we did the show on a Sunday. And then throughout the year, we do what I like to call beer runs. And basically what that is we start at Puddlers Hall, which just happens to be the bar that's walking distance from my house and our shop.
Is the shop at your house?
No, it's across the street.
Got it.
Yeah, just a 1.5 car garage that I rent.
Yeah.
Barely a shop.
From somebody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we usually just pick a random brewery within like an hour and a half, Beer City Cycles, beer run. And we drive down to that brewery, we have a couple beers, and then we ride back. Kind of started doing it just because I was tired of everybody meeting up and everybody asking where we were going to go ride, and then ride to the same bar that was 1 mile down the street.
Yeah, nobody can make a decision.
Yeah, no one makes a decision. We just go to the same place. So just trying to do something different and I don't know, have a good time.
Bless you.
Thanks. That was a burp, but
I wasn't sure what it was. Well, I noticed your show, and was it a success? Was it what you thought it would be? Is this something you're
yeah,
going
it
to do
was
annually?
pretty blown away. I'm planning on doing it again next year. Tentative date is June 9th, which is a Sunday as well.
Damn, you guys get out in front of shit.
Trying to. Anybody that actually knows me probably hates me for it. I live and die by my calendar almost. I always plan stuff.
exhausting.
I was yelling at Jesse for being a couple minutes late today here. So I try to get everything planned pretty far ahead of time and try to make a good time. But yeah, the show this year was pretty insane. I was expecting like 20 bikes to show up, and we ended up, I think, counting like 83.
Wow. That's great.
Anywhere between like choppers, baggers, sportsters, stock bikes, old bikes, new bikes. It was pretty rad. Cooked up 200 brats for free, hand those out, got some cool raffle prizes, drank a bunch of beer, and had a good time.
There you go. Simple as that. Church.
I'm going a little deeper though. I'm going a little deeper. We've tap danced around what you are. I want to zoom in. I want you to give me a philosophy. What is Beer City Cycles?
Welcome to the Mama Tried.
How is Beer City Cycles?
This is Jeremy Prock, your host.
There must be a deeper philosophy. You have the name of Milwaukee in your name, and there's a brotherhood or a group. So articulate that a little more. What's the philosophy? What makes you unique?
I mean, I guess probably start from the beginning. So, I mean, before Beer City Cycles, me and a good friend of mine, how I got into motorcycles, I was in a band. He was a photographer. He rode motorcycles. It kind of got me interested into it. And we had something called Bombs Away Moto Works, which was just basically me and him. And we held what we called the bombing run every year. His now wife At the time, girlfriend had this like piece of land about 2.5 hours up north, and we just held like a crazy show. Like it wasn't a chopper show, it wasn't a bike show. It was just ride up here and camp out. And like our whole thing, he was ex-military, so the bombs away thing was kind of with that. And once we got to the last gas stop, we'd always like pick like one solid raffle prize and be like, all right, go as fast as you can. We got someone waiting for you. Like break the rules and just floor it, which is kind of dangerous, but the whole thing was kind of dangerous. We did a lot of sketchy shit when we did that. So after that, kind of got more into choppers and got into a shop called Studio Cycles that my buddy Stevie runs. And when he kind of stopped doing that, me and Buzz, which is the other guy that basically started Beer City Cycles, we were just like looking for a shop space. We ended up using like my 1-car garage at my house just to kind of work on our current stuff. Came up with a name, came up with a cool logo, had our buddy Kyle Bach design it, and then from there just kind of kept moving forward. Started off just doing choppers. Buzz went the other route of like high performance motorcycles, doing Harley stunts and wheelies and all that stuff, blowing off tires nonstop. I went more the chopper route, vintage route, but it's gonna happen the more I drink all those beers. And then
B-roll.
and then we kind of just like kept. I've seen his B-roll. I can't wait for all 90 of the burps that are coming for this one. There we go. And then from that, we just kind of kept building like this like group of people that would come in, and a lot of them like were new riders that like we had just known from like the music industry or meeting at a bar, who had never ridden a motorcycle before. And we kind of, I don't know, not to say like it was like a misfits group, but like Buzz and I met when we like didn't ride motorcycles. Like, we, you know, my parents didn't ride motorcycles. Like, I don't know about half the other guys if their parents did or not. And we just kind of started off with that. And like, yeah, you can say it was a brotherhood of like dudes that just wanted to help each other and learn and like keep moving forward and kind of working on your own stuff. So that's kind of how it all started. So right now it's just a group of dudes that like to have a good time. You know, I try to, you know, every time I post something, you know, I try to stay away from drama. Like if you got a problem with someone that's going to show up and like if you're going to do something there, like I'm going to bounce you out, man. Like I don't want that. Like Beer City Cycles is about having a good time, drinking with your buddies, meeting new friends, and putting on miles. Like that's always been my big thing. Like even when I started out with Mike with Bombs Away Moto Works, it was like just doing miles. Like the reason we'd end up doing that like ride to his site was like, I think it ended up being like 175 miles or something, but it would take us like 6 hours to get there because we'd make all these stops. And like, you know, we were used to just going to like these little shows, like where, you know, some people would ride out, some people would trailer out. And I was just like, yo, if you want to do this, like we're meeting here in Milwaukee and you're riding up with us. It's the only way that you can find out where this address is. Like we're putting on miles. I'm like, that's what it's all about. Because a lot of people, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, if you just ride to work and back, you know, I'm just happy that you're on two wheels and I hope you're having a great time. For me, motorcycles took over like where when I was in a band, Younger Touring, like took over that adventure of not knowing what was next. So I want to put on miles with my motorcycle. I want to go and ride and see new things and explore new places and not really have like any destination in mind half the time. Or have a destination and figure out like, you know, maybe we're going to this brewery on a Sunday ride and we find something cool. Stop. We got no time to be anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you let the road take you where it takes you.
What's your phrase, Warren?
The road will provide.
The road will provide. So I made a bold assumption in my own brain that that's what Beer City Cycles was, just because of the name. The name Milwaukee represents almost everything you said. A humility about motorcycles. There's a humility, just welcoming new people and hanging out, and then keeping the drama. That's a uniquely Milwaukee thing.
Yeah.
Keeping out the drama. Am I wrong? Or is that an arrogant
No,
statement?
I think you're
you've been
right.
saying?
I think a lot of people shy away from that and want to shy away from that. And there's drama's everywhere, but
Drama's everywhere. I mean, you know, it comes and it goes, you know, but trying to plan to avoid that is the biggest thing. Like I said, you know, some people will judge Beer City Cycles, like I mentioned, you know, some of us are into big performance bikes and that we're out doing wheelies in the middle of the street and, you know, doing burnouts and stuff and causing some chaos, you know, and if that's not your thing, then don't come and hang out. You know, if it is, come and hang out. Or if you want to be into that but not into it at the same time, like I'm usually out on like my shovel head and I'm not doing wheelies on that thing. Sure. So, you know, it's just kind of open to whoever wants to have a good time. Like if at the end of all this, where I've been talking and just rambling on, it's having a good time is really what it's about.
Yeah. No, I feel that about you the second I met you. But pause for a second. There's a lot to unpack with you. You're an interesting character. What about this character here? Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
You gotta lean in a bit.
What's your name on your thing? Is that
My name?
Sack or Vac?
Sack.
Vac.
Vac. Okay.
You got that from cleaning up at the bar all the time.
Is that what like
Yeah.
like the ladies?
No, with that mustache, you would think, but no, just cleaning up all the time and kind of cleaning up after all of us. So he kind of got the nickname Vac.
Okay.
We shortened it from Vacuum.
Yeah, the mustache came later.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know. I
Well,
guess
what's your role? Let's start there.
my role, I guess I would start off by like how I kind of got folded into everything was just getting our friend Buzz that he mentioned and Chris drunk at Club Garibaldi.
Because you
feeding them chicken wings.
You were bartending?
I was bartending there. Yeah, I worked there for a long time. And then in, threshold of COVID, I was trying to find out what the hell I was going to do to keep myself busy because got laid off and had no job. And riding motorcycles was always something I wanted to do, but always came up with some excuse or reason not to. I'm rather accident prone. I've broken every limb on my body multiple times over the years. And so I decided to say, fuck it, I'm gonna buy a motorcycle. Always wanted to. So knowing Chris and just by nature of him knowing that he rode, I asked him to ride the motorcycle that I was trying to buy home.
I hope we're going into the story.
Oh, yeah, I am. So I had done some research and I found a bike that I really liked, and I asked him, I was like, hey, I've ridden a motorcycle before, dirt bikes before, but never on a freeway. And it was about 20 miles away up in Cedarburg.
At this point, we had never actually hung out outside of the bar.
Right. It's a very important detail.
It is a very important detail.
Very important detail. So he nicely agreed to give me a hand. So he came over to my house and picked me up and drove me up to this dealership in Cedarburg where I was supposedly going to buy this motorcycle this day. And I had never bought a new or used vehicle from any sort of dealership. I'd never taken a loan out from anywhere.
Was this from Suburban?
Was it
No.
something Motorsports, Cedarburg
Yeah, it was more
Motorsports
of
or something like that?
like an ATV, UTV
But
store.
was this Harley then? Or?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a used Harley. It's
Right.
old 2008 Dyna.
You still have it?
I do still have it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, go ahead. Finish your story.
Anyways, so we go up there and we're the guys walking us through the whole thing, and I thought because I had gotten approved for my loan through my bank that
Hold on, we're missing one major step here. So,
oh yeah.
I was going to ride the motorcycle home, obviously.
Ooh, yep, that's a
So
big deal.
we get there, and the guy's pumped. He had already gotten pre-approved for the loan. He's like, "You guys want a beer? You want a shot?" And I'm like, "He's never ridden a motorcycle. This is his first bike. I'm not gonna do a shot and then maybe wipe out on anything." So I'm like, "No, man, I got to ride the bike home. So I'm just gonna keep it cool."
He
Not
brought his
continue.
helmet with him and everything. Also, I got something wrong. I said that you drove me up there.
you
I drove us up there.
Okay. All right. These are all important details.
Yeah. And so we're going through the whole thing, and he's the I don't know, what do you call
Salesman?
Salesman that was trying to close the deal and everything said, all right, where's the check? And I'm just like,
What check?
huh? I thought that my bank would wire the dealership the money or something.
They
And so
don't.
I didn't
Everybody out there,
realize
they
that
don't.
there's an extremely important detail that I just completely overlooked and was extremely ignorant on.
So he looks at me, and then I look back at the salesman. And I go, "I will take that beer and shot now."
And so obviously I did not buy a motorcycle that day.
Okay.
And he had taken
I take
a half a day off of work to come help me out. and somehow he agreed to
Go back the next
go
day.
back up there with me the next day. Still talked to me afterwards, and
you
it's
rode the
kind of
bike-
all
you
she
rode the
wrote.
bike?
I did end up riding the bike home. Yeah, he did figure it out. I did make sure that he had the check in hand before we left.
He did,
Um,
and
but,
then he
yeah.
almost got hit by a car on the
yeah, I was gonna
way
hit
back.
on the way back too. So.
Was it a nice bike? You had the experience. Was it a good deal?
Yeah, no, it was a good deal. It was a nice bike. Back then, it was like what, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was 4 years ago.
They were a little bit cheaper back then than they are now. So
What do you guys do outside
Yeah,
of
it
your
was
city?
definitely more expensive.
outside of Beer City,
Yeah.
oh, I do a lot. I do too much maybe.
Get into it.
Well, I work.
Yeah, what's your main gig? What do you do?
I do IT work.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm the head of my company's IT department.
interesting.
It
so
is.
when we need computer help, we call Chris.
Yeah, that's everybody actually does. So yeah, go for it.
You went to school?
Yeah, I went to school. I went to tech school, so I went for like a year and a half. Got an associate's degree and just jumped right into it at like the age of 19 and did that. I was doing like wedding photography for a while, like Brian does, but I just decided to quit doing that because I'd rather ride motorcycles than work with brides that are bitchy to me. Thankfully, they don't know me
So
as Chris Guns.
you have a 9 to 5.
Yeah, I have a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you
then
have to wear a hat?
No, actually, I show up, not the vest on, but flannel and shaved head. And,
It's rad.
yeah, I'm young for what I would say like my title is, but I worked pretty hard to get to where I was. Like for a long time, like I worked and just had like all my tattoos below like sleeve level
Yep.
and everything like that. And it's gonna sound cocky, but like I'm really fucking good at my job, and my job actually flies me around the world to speak at like IT security conferences.
Oh,
And
cool.
everybody kind of wants me to look like that because most people have this idea of like what an IT person should look like, and I guarantee it's not like this.
Yeah.
So,
You're good for the poster.
yeah. So I'm a little bit of a poster child to be like anybody can do IT.
Yeah.
Look at this scumbag.
Jesse, you said you were working.
I work for a safety company. So
You're not bartending.
no, I'm not bartending anymore. Actually, not long after that summer that I got my first motorcycle, I decided I did not want to get drunk assholes more drunk and be more of an asshole. So I started working for a safety company. So we go into like manufacturing plants and warehouses and that sort of thing and maintain their safety compliance. Your fire extinguishers, by the way, are grossly out of compliance. I looked at a couple when I was walking around.
Not my department.
Hey, we didn't say the address. You don't know where we are.
There's somebody walks around every once in a while and checks them. I don't give a shit.
So you're not bartending anymore.
Not bartending
You came up
anymore.
as my phone as Jesse Impala when we used to work together at the Impala Lounge.
Yeah.
You know this, Warren?
I do not.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I was probably a little longer than that. I was a young buck. It was my first bartending gig. I was working for George and Wendy Morales, the
You-
owners
you-
at
I know
Cafe
that. I know those
Corazon.
names.
You have the demeanor of a bartender. You always had a clean rag. You always stand up straight. You're always cleaning up.
He's always cleaning. Always
Washing
cleaning.
glasses.
That's why he's a
He's
vac.
always cleaning. You know, he had like this a garter around his arm.
Is that where the thing was stuck?
Oh, the opener, yeah. You had the opener on his arm. Yeah. I cut you off though, Chris. So you were saying you were finishing about your IT job. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't know. I just do IT work. It's
Okay.
my 9 to 5. You know, it pays the bills. So
But you said you were in a band.
yeah, I'm also in a band. Yeah, I played in a band called the DUIs. Well, I still play in a band called the DUIs. We've been a band now for 13 years. I'm the original member and only original member of that band, but we still go out and play gigs from time to time. Currently taking a little bit of a break, but we got a show sometime later in this month or maybe October. I can't remember. But one of our guitar players just got sick, so we have a fill-in guitar player for a while.
You gotta be brought up to speed.
He actually practiced pretty well. We actually got band practice tonight after this. This will be our second band practice with him, and he's way more on point than any of us are. So.
Sweet.
You guys are kind of like street punk. Is that the sound?
Yeah, that's what I would probably say. That's probably the closest thing. Everybody always tries to ask me like what band I sound like, and I have no fucking idea at all.
Yeah. You know what street punk is, Warren?
Nope.
A little oi.
Sure. It's
Little-
aggressive.
It's not like
Fast.
basement shows where like hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture of that and like punk rock. It's aggressive and fast, and
Yeah.
Yeah. Basement
I like
show.
to push people
Yeah.
around.
I've been to a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Familiar space.
Yeah, one little light bulb.
Tell me your start. Usually, people have a linear heritage to motorcycles. What got you into motorcycles?
So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, so motorcycles just kind of came about because my band, the DUIs, at the time was playing a show at what was Frank's Power Plant. And this kid had just like taken a bunch of photos of us. He was taking photos of all the bands. And everybody loves a band photo. So like I went up, introduced myself, tried to buy him a drink. He didn't drink. And I was like, oh, okay, well, can I get you a soda or something? And got him a root beer and started talking to him. And he seemed like a cool dude. And he gave me his number. I gave him mine. We texted back and forth. He sent me the photos. And I mentioned to him that we were playing another show. He came out, did photos for us again. We started talking, we became friends. And he pulled up on his Honda Shadow at the time. And I started asking about motorcycles. And I was like, that's pretty cool, man. I'd like motorcycles. And he's like, you should get into it. And I went and bought my first motorcycle, which was a Honda CB650, and rode that with him into the ground. And then he had found me another Honda VLX Shadow that I ended up making into my first chopper. And then eventually after that, got into Harleys, and that's kind of where it all started for me. And like I mentioned, it kind of picked up where like being in a touring band. So working a 9 to 5 and having bills to pay, taking every summer off like doesn't really do that anymore for me. Like I'm not a great musician. I'm not signed to any record labels or anything. I'm usually giving away half the stuff that I pay for. So motorcycles kind of picked up and took off where like touring did.
Sure.
So it just gave me that freedom of not, because like you have like an idea of where you're going or where you want to go, like when you're touring and you're in a band. And it's kind of the same thing with a motorcycle. You got like a destination, like you're heading east, like you have somewhat of an endpoint usually, maybe, or maybe you don't. So it's like, you know, what all happens in between there? Who do you meet in between there? Like, you know, you meet new friends, you know, you break down in a van, you break down on a bike, you meet someone that comes and helps you, you know, and then you become friends and you got this person in that city. And now you have like a destination where like you didn't know, like you might have gone to. Last year, for an example, we were out on a ride and we were planning on going to
You're going to Tennessee.
Tennessee.
We broke down in Kentucky.
And my shovel broke down several times. My my stator plug basically disintegrated and fell out. And then my buddy Mike, his starter switch died, and I had it hot wired on the side of the road. And a sheriff pulled up, and he had known someone in Lexington, and those dudes were like, yeah, if you get your bike here, we'll help you run in. And we like wired my bike in. We got Mike's bike wired all up. And now like they're great friends of mine. They come up, you know, for Mama Tried and for other stuff in Milwaukee, and we hang out and we put them up and we hold barbecues and we go down there to their stuff. And, you know, it just kind of lets me meet all these people that I would never meet otherwise.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great tool. Motorcycles are perfect for that.
Yeah.
I mean, best times of the road, or best times are broken down on the side of the road.
It really is. And, you know, I'm by no means a mechanic at all. Like I do enough to get me from point A to point B.
That's all you
And
need.
I can usually fix something on the side of the road with, you know, some cables, some duct tape, and hose clamps.
It just makes the trip so much
And it
more
really
rewarding.
does. It's all about the adventure to me. So, and then it's again, just the people you meet, and you know, you meet the nicest people everywhere. You know, people just stop randomly. My wife always gets mad because I'll be in my truck, and we do a lot of road trips. We went to South Carolina this year too, and I remember like driving past and somebody was on the side of the road, and I pulled over. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "This dude's broke down with his bike. I got a toolkit in the back of the truck. Like, I'm just gonna see like what I can do for him."
Yep.
You know, and he ended up having a blown tire. I was like, "Well, do you need me to drive you somewhere?" He's like, "Tow truck's already on the way." You know, but it's still just like that community of like people that are just on bikes are just like almost 99% willing to just help you just because you're out there doing this shit.
I can't count how many times I've been into just most random places needing the most random things, and they just show up. Like we needed a set of iron head clutch plates, and we were in northern Michigan, about to cross the bridge in a parking lot, and I'm sitting there doing this with the old ones. Some dude shows up. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I got something in my truck. Here." I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was so strange.
I appreciate the maturity of which you guys travel. I still am always trying to make good time. I still look at Google Maps and I try to beat the Google Map time.
I mean, if my wife were here right now, she'd probably completely contradict me because I always say if you're 5 minutes early, you're 3 minutes late.
Yeah.
But it's completely different, like for like a certain trips.
Sure.
You know, like on a motorcycle trip, like you just got to plan for it. You know, you never really know what's going to happen. And trying to learn as much as you can about your bikes, and especially now that I'm getting into older bikes, it's, you know, like
Sure.
I try to ride my Shovelhead, my 76, as much as I can. And like it's gonna break at some point. Like,
Sure.
No, if you don't ride it, it's gonna break. My
That
bikes
too.
just sit there and they break without moving.
no. You got some collecting dust back there. If you need someone to get on one, let me know.
I might just hit you up on that.
Yeah,
'Cause
man, I'll come out and ride a knucklehead or a flathead
just-
or a shovelhead.
just come pick it up and babysit it for a while.
I'm down for that too.
Sounds good.
When I was touring, I had to get to the show. I had to get to the show that night, and so I missed all those good times that were happening to me. It wasn't until now at 50 I look back and I realized what a great time I had. Because I was just so
living too
obsessed.
fast.
I probably made it a little bit easier for my band because I was a dude that like drove. I was just a driver, so I was like, "Yo, we're in the van. Like, I'm up at 6 a.m. We're going. Like, you can sleep in the van." And then like we had adventures when we got there, but yeah, obviously when you're playing in a band, it's a little bit different. Like, you got to be at the gig or you don't get paid.
Sure. I don't think we got paid at the gig.
I mean, half the time we didn't either. I was just hoping for a free bar tab, so free bar tab and maybe a place to sleep.
Well, let me start with Jesse on this next one here. You guys have a pride of Milwaukee. It's in your name.
Yeah.
Why is Milwaukee rad?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like it's just the culture and feeling of it. I think everyone's kind of heard the small feeling of a big city, you know. It's just very welcoming, just kind of the same way that we kind of pride ourselves on bringing in new people into riding and into the city. I feel like a lot of my friends that I've met in Milwaukee aren't actually from Milwaukee, but consider it very much home. And I think that's just a huge part of the city and also Beer City Cycles and what we're kind of all about.
Have you been anywhere else? How do you know Milwaukee's great? How do you know everybody else doesn't live like this? You ever been to Des Moines?
Des Moines? No, I haven't been to Des Moines.
How do you know it's not rad there?
Been to Toledo.
Is it rad in Toledo?
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Poinet, Wisconsin. So it's a
Poinet.
very small farm town, about 30 minutes north of Madison. I think when I moved away, it was 2,000 people population.
How'd you end up in Milwaukee?
I moved here 2 weeks after I graduated high school to go to art school.
How'd that work out for you?
I have $20,000 in student loan debt and no fucking degree.
What did you learn?
I learned that you don't need an art degree to make art.
There you
Do
go.
you make art?
Not as much as I should.
Okay, all right. Chris, where'd you grow up?
So I grew up kind of all over the U.S. So my dad was a geologist for the Department of Energy. So I'm originally from Monroe, Louisiana. For those that people don't know Monroe, that's where Duck Dynasty is from. So a little bit north of New Orleans in a small little hillbilly town. Didn't live there very often. Don't remember any of it.
Is that where Dump Truck is from? Have you been following Dump Truck?
I know a dump truck, but I'm not sure where he's from. I know he's from Louisiana though.
What is dump
Shit,
truck?
why do I?
He's a guy.
It's like, is it Port Royal? Is that?
I
Does
don't
that
know. I
sound-
don't know my geography. Give me one of these, Chris. Where is actually is it this one?
don't-
If there's New Orleans.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Okay, got it.
Somewhere in the middle. I couldn't tell you, to be honest, but I moved all over the place. The longest place I ever lived before Milwaukee was I lived in Las Vegas. And I lived there for like 3 years before my parents decided to move us back here. And it kind of was because me and my little sister weren't making friends because we knew we were going to move again. I think it kind of broke my dad's heart, so he quit his job. My mom's originally from Wisconsin, so we could come up here and kind of have like a good start and have someone help us. Like,
How old were you at that point?
how old are you in 6th grade? Like 12?
Yeah, well, Max just joined 5th grade and he's
11.
9 or 10. So yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So moved up here and have just lived up here for The rest of it,
Where would you go to high school?
I went to high school at St. Francis.
Okay, yeah. Is it St. Francis have a public high school? Or
Yep.
St. Moore, Thomas More?
Thomas More is a private, but
Got
yeah,
it.
St. Francis is a public high school. Yeah, so went there. So I've lived here for the rest of my life. So I call this place home.
Where are your parents now?
My parents now live in Las Vegas again. My dad decided he hated paying state tax and said, even though he worked for the government, fuck the government and didn't want to pay that shit. So he moved to a spot where there's no state tax. He also fucking hates the snow. So
Where's your sister?
my sister lives in Milwaukee still. So
And why? So why is Milwaukee rad? You named this company or this crew.
yeah, so well, Buzz and I named it together. I don't want to. He's unfortunately couldn't be here, but not because he's dead or anything. He's just a dad now. But I mean, it's just for me, it's rad because it's the place that I call home. You know, I've lived a lot of places and I've seen a lot of stuff in my lifetime. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's totally other rad places. Like me and my wife travel a lot. This year we'll be overseas 4 times at the end of the year. But in Milwaukee, it's the place where, like, you know, yeah, I have my family, but like my friends are like the true family where, like, if I fucking needed something, I could call on these people and they would be there, like, in a heartbeat. So to me, that's pretty fucking rad. The fact that, like, Harley Davidson's from here and, like, you know, Harley puts on, you know, all these events, you know, throughout the year. You know, we always have like the big anniversary parties. Mama Tried's here, you know, we're a bunch of people from out of town. So it's like kind of like a center point, you know, at least like in the Midwest. And I know a lot of people come from outside of the Midwest as well, where it's like a center area that everybody can kind of just like flock to and meet up with all their friends. So to me, that's pretty fucking rad. Because everybody shows up here and we have a good time. Like I don't know a single person that hasn't been here that's not like, holy fuck. First off, fuck you guys because like I'm fucking wrecked and I gotta get on this plane now to go home. Second off, that was a fucking amazing time and I can't wait to fucking come back.
Yeah. I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, I feel that Milwaukee could potentially pop, and I think that's a bad thing. Does that make sense? So tell everyone you know that Milwaukee sucks.
I can slightly agree with that, man, because, you know, the more and more things get bigger and better, you know, the more and more assholes come out to it and people that you don't really want. It's kind of like when your favorite band hits the radio and you're like, fuck, man, now our basement shows, instead of it being $5, now we're holding it at some like big ass venue and now I'm paying $45 because they hit the radio. Like, you're happy for it. You're happy for the people involved with it. But at the same time, you're like, now this has to be what it is. But at the same time, like, I think, you know, there's always going to be something else that will pop up. You know, there's always something else that's going to be smaller, a smaller band, a smaller show.
Yeah, you're right.
That's going to be able to, like, still keep what you love alive.
Sure. I think that Mama Tried tries, or I'm not speaking for Mama Tried, but Flat Out Friday anyway, tries to always maintain its punk rock roots, so to speak,
Yeah, you know,
as best
but
we can.
it's still a thing, right? Like, it's, you reach a certain point and you're at a certain venue or you have a certain following, you know, it's just, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, so there's like, you constantly want to, like, I'd love to go back to what was Florida Street, you know, to back to that first show. That was wild. You know,
So in Warehouse.
yeah, and do the whole warehouse thing too. You know, nothing against the rave, but it was fun. It was fun being in places like that. It felt a little. I mean, it felt illegal, and it felt.
Yeah, it feels like illegal. It feels like you shouldn't be there. Like,
Yeah. Well, we shouldn't have been in the first place.
I mean, even mine. Like, I told Publix Hall there'd be like 30 bikes.
Yeah,
like, they
yeah.
had one bartender that day. Like,
We should have
and-
blocked off the street.
and we should have blocked off the street. It was like constantly like me and like 6 of the other Beer City dudes. I was like, yo, I just need you guys to not have anybody drink beer in the street. Like, they can drink on the sidewalk all they want, but please keep them in because like the cops are going to shut this down. I want to keep this kind of going. I want to do this like every year.
Yeah.
You know, luckily, again, you know, I kind of put it out there straight up and I was like, yo, if you're going to be an asshole or like you got drama, don't fuck it, bring it here. And everybody was super nice and it ended up working out really well. Like, the bartender told me he made like the most money he's ever made at like working bar that day. So I was like, cool, man. I'm like, thanks for letting me do that shit.
That's a good thing about Milwaukee too. Is I think it's pretty self-policing. You know, there's enough folks out there that'll speak up if you're an asshole, which I appreciate.
I appreciate that too, man.
I hope that somebody calls me an asshole one day if I'm out of line.
I mean, I won't. Don't get me wrong, man. I mean, there's been times where I've gotten too drunk and someone's called me out and told me I'm an asshole, and I'm like, yo, thank you.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what it is, man.
You're right, man. I
You're
got a
good.
little too drunk and got a little too rowdy at the bar, and let me know when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I like pushing limits. It's like racing or doing anything. You always want to know where that line is.
Yeah.
Where's the line? Oh, found it last night. Got to do some apologies. Oops.
Do you remember the crazy person outside of Garibaldi the day before the show that caused a scene
Yeah, caused
and
big
got
ass
kicked
scene.
out? You
I
went
do.
back to the shop to get tools,
Yeah.
and then they showed up to the show the next day
Yeah.
and walked up to you all sheepish and apologized.
Yeah. Yeah, we were at Club Garibaldi, just like having a couple beers, and Jesse and I and this group of 3 people, and I don't know who they were. I don't know if they were from town or out of town. They were like outside trying to like work on their bike, and I was like, what's going on? And all it was the guy's hose clamp on his fuel line was like loose, so he was dripping fuel. And I was like, I didn't bring any tools on my bike, but my shop's like right over there. Apparently one of the people like wasn't welcome inside Club Garibaldi's, must have gotten kicked out for whatever reason in the past. Came in and they were like, you gotta leave. And this dude that I was like going to go get this tool for like came in and was just like, fuck you guys, you can suck my dick, I don't fucking care. And I came back and everybody's screaming. I'm like, dude, I was literally gone for like 3 minutes. I was like, what the fuck happened? And like, I'm trying to apologize to the bartenders there. I was like, hey, I'm trying to get them out of here. Like, let me just fix their bike real quick. Tightened it, and they left. And yeah, the next day they came up to the show, and like I immediately saw the dude, and I was like,
Damn it.
and he like came up and apologized right away. I was like, yo, dude, it's fine, man. But if you cause that shit here, like I'm gonna fucking kick you out too. Like I'm not gonna be as nice, So just don't be a dick. Just come out and have fun, man. That's what motorcycles are about. No one buys a motorcycle to be a fucking asshole.
Unless you go to Sturgis.
Do you think?
I don't know. Sturgis for me, I spent most of the time in the hospital. So
Well, that
Yes.
sounds like a story.
yeah.
Tell me, do you think there's a chopper renaissance going on? Do you think that this is a new movement, or is this just happenstance?
I mean, I don't know if I would say it's a new movement. I would say it's kind of been somewhat of what it's always been, really.
It's hard for us to maybe see the forest for the trees.
I would say it's hard for me to see too. As I mentioned, I got dudes that do like wheelies on their Harleys and 12 o'clock their bikes and scrape fender, and then I got dudes that build choppers and ride old bikes with me, and I've kind of just seen everything stay somewhat the same.
Yeah, there's always like whether it's the same people or not, it always feels about the same.
Yeah.
Like it kind of shifts. There's new groups that pop up and other
Yeah.
ones go away. There's some constants in there, but
if Buzz was here, he would tell you he wants everybody to bring him his motor and let him build it to 100,000 billion cubic inches and, have a powerhouse that can do 180 miles down the freeway and keep up with sport bikes, where I'm like, yo, dude, I just want to stock shovelhead. And if I can make 75 miles per hour, like, that's great.
yeah. Yeah.
Jesse, do you make bikes? You said you bought this this dyno, right? This
Is it all bad boyed out, club style?
I wouldn't say I make bikes, but I know enough to try to fix the mistakes that I make often enough.
I feel that I'm just developing my style. Do you think you got a style?
I had a little bit of a
Tell
style.
me a little bit about your style.
My style?
Style of
I
bike.
think it's about just that, like the flow. I'm definitely not someone that's trying to do wheelies or do absolutely crazy shit. I enjoy my favorite thing, honestly. I love riding with other people, but unfortunately some of that breeds drama, whether it's part of our culture or not. My favorite thing is riding alone, honestly. And I think a big part of just that first summer that I rode, not knowing necessarily what I was doing, was a big part of that. Just like how I got into really riding a lot was just kind of the meditation of it. You drive in your car and you're listening to music all the time, or
Sure.
like you're on the road, you're listening to your motor, you're listening to the wind. You don't really necessarily know where you're going, where if you're with other people, like Chris said earlier, like everyone's always asking what the destination is, where if you're kind of by yourself, you just do whatever the hell you want. And
Sure.
if you want to stop here or you want to go left instead of right, you know, you're not chasing anyone or waiting for anyone. You're just kind of
Sure.
being
Yeah, you get to-
yourself. That was really what sucked me in even deeper once I started riding motorcycles. I wouldn't say that I dislike riding in groups. I love going on long trips with people. But at like the heart of it,
Sure.
a lot of it is like a solitary thing
It's
for
less
me.
style and it's just more miles
Yeah.
for you. Yeah. Do you guys ever get any shit for your vests?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have a vest that has a patch on the back and like a name tag on the front. I mean, we're at the end of the day, like if anyone wants to call us anything, we're a shop,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if you go to any shop, like any shop's got their logo on the back and someone's name tag on the front. You know, where I understand where you're going is like MC culture, and I respect MC culture. You know, it's not something that I'm interested in myself and being in an MC, and that's why like we're not. Like if you want this patch on my back, like I make them one at a time. I have a buddy out in Ohio that costs $100. You want one? I'll fucking send you one. You send me $100, you can have it.
Sure.
Like we're not a club, we're not a crew. You know, we don't want any of that drama, but at the same time, like I completely respect that culture. You know, I've read the books, you know, I know like who is where, you know, and we've had some times where like people have came up to us and asked me and I explain it to them and I go, you know, if you'd like me to take it off, I will. You know, I'm not just going to give you my jacket, obviously, like, but like I'm not, it doesn't say MC, it doesn't say anything. Like we don't have rockers, we don't got bottoms, we got none of that stuff. You know, but sometimes, yeah, you know, sometimes you're going to get someone drunk, someone's going to be an asshole, you know, and
Yeah.
to me, again, you know, I try to stay away from as much drama as possible. So, you know, if they want me to go put it in my side bag, I'll gladly go do that for you. You know, I'm looking to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the bar for a reason, not to fight. I'm here to have a beer.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, if you want me to go ahead and put it out, I'll put it out, and then I'll come back in and I'll talk to you, and I'll probably buy you a beer. You know, it's.
No, I get it. I wasn't looking for drama
Yeah.
myself.
No.
I'm just, you know.
No, I mean,
wondering
the question comes up.
when you're traveling through
Yeah.
Toledo.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know the full landscape, the nuance of the landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually, I mean, a lot of us don't always like. Not everyone that's Beer City has a jacket that has like a Beer City patch. It's just if you want one, I'll give you one. Like,
Sure.
You know, Jesse and I just happen to ride with ours usually most of the time, and it happened to be cold, so I put my vest on today. Otherwise, sometimes I don't ride with it. You know.
We were talking about how rad Milwaukee is, but I want to document a story that happened to you, Jesse, because you know there's the phrase you can fuck around and find out, and I think Jesse, you found out. I don't think you know this story, Warren, but it's a great story, and if it's not too traumatic, if you could just give us, you know, a 2-paragraph summary of this story where you found out about Milwaukee.
Well, are you talking about the time I got shot or the time I got stabbed?
Oh, dude, that's where I know.
I think you're talking about the time I got shot,
That's
which
where I
was
know you
actually
from.
almost exactly a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. That shirt popped up on my news feed.
And I actually got shot on my bicycle, not my motorcycle. Yeah, and life is crazy, and people are sometimes mean. I was trying to do what a coworker of mine said was the best thing that what he could imagine. I was riding home from an ASL class.
So
it's
American
Sign
Sign
Language.
Language, okay.
So I'm trying to learn sign language to communicate with another friend of ours, Twig, who also rides motorcycles with us, that we met many years ago. Chris and I
This is the most Milwaukee story ever. Right?
Chris and I helped put together this class to teach the Bayview community and mainly ourselves, but other people kind of clinged onto it, how to, you know, communicate in ASL so that we could communicate with our friend instead of texting or writing, whatever. So I'm riding home from this class. Decided to ride my bicycle instead of driving because I don't want to lose my job and get a DUI. So I'm trying to be responsible.
I think you can still get a DU on a bicycle.
You can, but it's much harder.
Until you get shot.
And I was riding through an intersection just a couple blocks from my house, and a car ran a stop sign and hit me and ran me off the road. And I jumped up and I suppose was just drunk enough to yell at them a little bit, and they slammed on their brakes, and I stood up and, yelled a few profanities, and they leaned out their window and shot me. This one shot. One peeled, and then peeled off, and then kind of stood there for a second thinking, it's like, holy shit, I think they just shot at me. I didn't feel it or anything, and I was like, all right. And I was kind of standing there, and it was rather warm outside. I went to wipe the sweat off my forehead, and my hand was covered in blood, and pulled my pants down. There was a hole in me. So I just kind of laid down on the ground, and somehow a car drove past, and
Did you have a phone on you to call 911 or what?
Dude, that's the funny thing. It never even occurred to me to call 911. I just kind of sat down and laid back, and I was like, holy shit, I just got shot. And then I saw a car drive past me, and as they were pulling away from the stop sign, I was like, I probably should have asked them for help. And then about 2 minutes later, another car drove past, and I sat up and yelled at them, and this couple got out of their car, and I was like having a panic attack. I forced them to stand me up, even though they told me to sit down. So I forced them to stand me up, and they called 911, and an ambulance was there within like 2 or 3 minutes, and they pumped me full of ketamine, which was a lot of fun. And then I screamed at the nurses. There's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? It's like, I got fucking shot. And
in and out. Did it stay in?
Didn't need surgery. It went into my hip, broke my hip, stayed in my ass, and I was actually awake when they pulled the bullet out. They cut a hole in my butt cheek, and they pulled it out, and they showed it to me. And I was so high on ketamine, I asked them if I could keep it. And it's like, no.
You should be able to keep it.
In my mind, I was like trying to grab it, but I think I was more like this. But
were you in pain?
No, it's just adrenaline.
I didn't even. Ketamine.
I mean, were you in pain when you got shot, right? You're laying down on the
cement? So the bullet hole itself didn't ever actually hurt. It's just kind of, honestly, it was like the broken hip that I think was the big part of it.
So what is that? What is that then? What kind of bullet is that?
It was a 45.
Damn.
It's a big hole.
Yeah,
I got a big hole.
Big hole. And that,
they wouldn't let me. It was my favorite pair of pants. They tried to cut my pants off. I was like, no, I like these pants. So in the ambulance, I made them let me take my pants all the way off, and then they kept it. The cops kept it because there was evidence because it had a hole through it.
Oh man!
Was there a trial or was there anything? Or?
No, they didn't find no one. I got a phone call the next day, asked me if I remembered the license plate or the color of the car, and I heard nothing else.
Did you remember any of these things?
The color of the license plate? Yeah. No, it happened so fast.
Did you tell me that the cops kind of thought you were guilty? Or?
Yeah, they were like, why did you get shot? What were you doing to get shot? They're making it sound like I was
in a drug deal.
Yeah, trying to create some sort of scenario that didn't exist.
Trying to create some drama. And you're like, Beer City Cycles is no drama.
Just trying to get home, man. I got to work in the morning.
So sum it up. So when you got stabbed, I mean, you don't have to go to the long story of that one, but was the setup the same?
No, I wouldn't say I deserved that one.
So you did not deserve to get shot. That's agreed.
I've also been stabbed, but not shot.
I did not deserve to get stabbed. I also didn't. Well, I did not deserve to get shot, but
true.
I also didn't deserve to get stabbed.
No, you don't seem like the kind of person that deserves these things.
Right.
So how did you get stabbed?
I was into more shenanigans in my younger days, and I hung out with some people that were doing some shady things, and
okay,
yeah.
All right, and that's how you got stabbed.
Naturally.
I got stabbed. There was a kid that needed to have credits for his music degree, so we agreed to let him on tour with us to be our band manager. And the day before we went out on tour, he got drunk, and our drummer at the time was like, "Stab him," and he actually stabbed me.
And did he go on tour with you the next day?
He did.
Okay.
Where did he stab you?
In the leg.
Damn it. Hate getting stabbed.
It's not fun. Wouldn't recommend.
Well, that's the most Milwaukee thing that we know it has a shitty part of our city. There's a shittiness about it, but we overcome it to some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. What 2 years ago, everybody was out at a party at Elwood, party at Elwood's.
Oh
yeah,
hit the deck. It was on New Year's. It was on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really bummed me out. I remember I left. I was bummed out. that there was a shooting right in front of Elwoods. They're
Yeah.
not right in front, but around the corner.
Yeah, it was like a high-speed chase all the way down Water Street.
Yeah, shot the guy in the street. You know, deserved it or not, that's not what's important. The point is that it happens.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for it. That's why I don't wear flip flops. By the way, when you come to Milwaukee, or I see someone wearing flip flops, I'm almost like, dude.
That's why you got to wear Crocs. You can put them on 4x4 mode.
Did you see they're
Full
trying
sponsor
to?
for Crocs here. I love them.
I saw some meme that's saying they're like trying to outlaw Crocs at airports and malls because of the escalator. There's a picture of one that was like curled into the
So
at the end.
you get
Yeah.
those new Shrek Crocs, and the ear gets caught.
I did not hear that, but I will tell you that is a fear of mine. Like, I will make sure my shoes are tied before I step on an escalator because I do not want to get sucked in.
See,
What'd you
I
call Dana?
hate escalators. I always take the stairs. Escalators piss me off.
This is too slow.
You got
Well, I
250
mean,
taps.
to me, in my mind, it's a more efficient stair. It's like you can go up the stairs twice as fast, but you got lazy fuckers that just stand on them.
It's true. This is true.
So then I
You
just,
call me lazy?
well, not you. I actually pointed at him. But so my favorite thing is to take the normal stairs and then get to my destination faster than the people just standing on the automatic ones.
Trash.
We got to step up this one. This salad bowl.
I think we need to end this podcast.
How are we doing on time?
We're at it.
Okay, well let's wrap. Let's wrap
No, I'm
up.
kidding. I'm just saying I'm out of beer now.
Let's wrap up a little bit. I want to ask you your question. Do you make motorcycles? Do you design? Do you make your own?
Yeah, no. I mean, I have built motorcycles in the past, and I just worked on my 76 with my good friend Colin, Doc Shovel, and we just split the cases on my motor and rebuilt that together, and had our good friend Chris Tribby that I think you guys know, built my transmission for me and got that back on the road. So I'm looking forward to building my next chopper, but right now it's just kind of keeping maintenance on everything I currently have. I have built bikes in the past, and I plan on still building bikes.
And not that that means anything. It doesn't give you a greater or lesser
Yeah.
space in this community. You have a mind for it. You're an IT guy. I imagine you can split a case.
Yeah.
In,
I'll tell you, it was pretty scary. Like the first time he was like, just hit it with a hammer, and I hit it. And he was like, no, hit it. And I was like, you got to fucking whack at it, dude. And I was like, oh shit, all right. And I hit it, and it split, and like the one side of the case fell, and I was like, it was a mallet. I was like, I brought this in for an electrical issue.
There's no going back now.
This is not what I was expecting here. But it was great. You know, I learned a lot, from it. And, you can say that's building a bike. It all depends on like what you call building a bike, Are you building it from the frame up? Did you buy it and fix it and change it? But have I built bikes in the past from the frame up? I sure have. And I hope to again, but for me, it's just kind of, like I said, I'm not like a mechanic or a fabricator or anything, I get by with a lot of help from my friends and a lot of help from my friends' friends and a lot of help from like the community. And that's a good thing about Milwaukee. You meet all these people and you meet all these people that can do all these things or fabricate or weld or paint. And then you keep that group of friends that, you help out. A big thing, like I always like to say, where everybody's like, oh, well, your friend helped you with this. And I'm like, yeah, dude, but I paid full price. Like, that's my friend. I'm not looking for a discount. Like, if that's your friend, don't ask for anything for free. You should be paying more for anything.
Sure.
So.
You know about that, Warren?
I know all about that.
Well, we hope. I'm proud of being a resident of the city and proud of what you guys represent.
Thank you.
How can we shine more of a light on you during our winter festivities? How can we turn it up? How can we turn up the Beer City Cycles?
I don't know. I mean, I guess follow like our biggest platform right now. I guess is Instagram, which is just Beer City Cycles. We like to hold rides and randomly I'll do like pop-up rides and stuff like that. And as I mentioned, June 9th is going to be the next like little bit show, which is just a ride and chopper show. And this year we picked like the favorite chopper, which ended up just being me and my friends picking whatever we liked was best.
Yeah.
And then best bike. They coming out and having a good time. And, if you want to have a good time, come out and do it. And if you're worried about it, you don't have to go on the ride with us. Maybe just come out to the bar and meet us, before we leave and meet who we are and talk to us and have a beer. Or if you don't drink, don't have a beer, and see what it's all about. And we're all about meeting new people. Last weekend was our buddy Scotty, who's part of the Beer City Cycles boys. We were out doing a ride for his birthday. And this dude, just randomly, we're like going down, I don't even remember what street it was. We were going to like Okachi Lake or something. This guy just pulls up, and we're in a group of like 10 people, you know, some Beer City people, some non-Beer City people. And he was just like, can I ride with you guys? And we looked at him, we're just like, yeah, dude. And we pull up to the bar, and he followed us all the way to the bar, and like introduced himself. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, thanks for letting me ride. And I was like, the fact that you just had the balls to like roll up to like a group of like 12 dudes on like motorcycles, like to just ask, hell yeah, you can. And like, I texted him like earlier this week. He like asked me for some like stickers, and I was like, yeah, dude, come on down to the bar later, man. Like, you know, this is, you know, what we're going to be doing and hanging out and riding. I was like, you know, the bar that I hang out holds cool Packer bar shit. Like, you know, we come on, hang out. So yeah, I don't know. Just tell everybody to hang out. Hang out with everybody, man. You know, if you're worried about like your image or whatever, just fucking, I don't know, just go do it, dude.
No, I appreciate it.
It's one fucking life, man.
I appreciate the empowerment of what you guys are doing. Yeah. So I'm clapping it up. I'm clapping it up for Beer City Cycles.
Thanks.
Clapping it up for Chris and Jesse. Hey, how about this? Let's clap it up for Milwaukee. Come on over there. Hey. Come on, Brian.
Come hang out in Milwaukee, man. We're more than just beer and motorcycles. We're good people and good food and good fucking times.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well said.
Agreed.
All right, thanks,
Good job,
guys.
man.